what it is, what it was, what it will be. This your boy GJ16. Welcome back to my channel where I talk about the Razorbacks and some things SEC. Today I want to talk about, actually, it's a lot I want to talk about. It's a lot that happened. Dude, this weekend has been, not just weekend, but these last 2 weeks since I've been gone, a lot have happened. A lot has happened. Big news. The biggest news, I guess, the elephant in the room is the thing with Oklahoma and Texas trying to come to the SEC. You know what? It's so many to unfold with so little time. I'm just gonna run through it all, tell you how I feel about it, what I think really will happen, what I think really is going to happen. So let's talk about it.
50 up and 50 down, I be wearing everything. 20 round, 24s on everything.
All right. So let's begin. You know what? Let's begin with something small and then jump into the big elephant in the room. Hey, congratulations to the Razorback basketball team. They got a 4-star, Darren Ford. I will put out another video later this week of who I'm excited about Darren Ford, and you should be too. Who I think he plays like, and the person that I think he plays like, the person that I think he plays like. I think y'all gonna be very excited to hear about who that person really is. Whew. All right, now let's talk about the big news. Oklahoma and Texas trying to come to the SEC. They put in this whole notice with their conference and SEC conference about joining. I don't know, man. How do I feel about this? How should I feel about this? You know what? If it all seems like a money grab, I don't think it's gonna happen this year. To be exact, matter of fact, I agree with RJ Young, man. RJ, and I forget what the other guy's channel that from Alabama. He put out a video yesterday talking about, they got a contract with the Big 12 conference, television contracts as well, to the year 2025. So you got a few years before you can even get out of that contract. So in order to buy out of that contract, it's going to really cost them heavily. So heavily, not heavenly, but heavily. So it's going to cost them a lot to get out of those contracts. Do they care? It depends on how bad they really want to come over here. It also depends on, matter of fact, bump it. I'm just going to show y'all this video on RJ and this other guy, and then my perspective. Here you go.
The reports coming from both 247 and The Athletic that OU and Texas will inform the Big 12 that they plan to leave. The question right now seems to be not if, but when. And when we say not if, but when, that's exactly it, right? So the grant of rights goes through 2024 with the conference. And the thinking is OU and Texas would owe the conference about $80 million if they wanted to leave that rights early, right? So you would have to pay that money back in. Now, there are lawyers that are going to go through these contracts and figure out what can and cannot be enforced, and these things can be settled in court. But what this reminds me of is the blow up of the Southwest Conference and the formation of the Big 12. You'll remember 8 of the Big 8 schools combined with 4 of the Southwest Conference schools to form the Big 12 in the mid-90s. And of course, Oklahoma and Texas were founding members of that. What I find to be really interesting about all of this is that nobody has said that OU and Texas leaving the Big 12 means they're joining the SEC. Because as Greg Sankey had said out loud, right, he's there to talk about 2021 football, and no invitation had been extended to either Oklahoma or Texas to join the SEC. Even as we speak, though, it seems that Texas A&M has been very loud about wanting to be the only Texas team in the SEC, even as it feels like they might have enough votes to vote in OU and Texas. There's still a lot to be worked out there, but I do think it is worth talking about that Oklahoma and Texas want to leave the Big 12. Now, that could mean a number of different things, right? Like there's even been floating out there like the possibility of the Pac-12 growing larger, or even the Big 12 going to 20 teams. All these things are on the table. It's one of the reasons I think that this is a very interesting time to talk about the sport, because as we all know, the reason that we love conference realignment is we like to think of what could be. But also you could throw almost anything against the wall, see if it sticks, because nobody knows exactly what it is that we're doing here. We only know what they are willing to say out loud. And right now, the only people talking about OU and Texas staying are the folks that have their heads in the sand, because it feels from the athletic directors who've spoken to The Athletic and to 247, and even in text messages, that this is done for them, that they have had it, that they want out of this conference. But I still think that you should be thinking, like I'm thinking, does that necessarily mean you're joining the SEC? Because as I said, I don't think it's really that cut and dry, and I don't think it's really in their interest to join the SEC, because I don't think that there's a real road to the college football playoff for Oklahoma or Texas in the SEC. I find this to be all really, really interesting.
It's fairly simple, and it's all about money. But last week, Oklahoma and Texas said that they might be leaving the Big 12 conference for the SEC. And of course, that shook the college football world and also shook the Big 12, because, you know, if they lose Texas and Oklahoma, they pretty much lose the conference. I don't think they're going anywhere personally. Y'all can let me know if y'all agree or disagree. But I think they're just using this as leverage, and I'm talking about Texas, Oklahoma. They're using this as leverage to get more money out of the Big 12 conference. First of all, what you need to know is if they did leave the conference, they would have to pay a hefty fee. I'm talking about an excess of $38 to $40 million. That would be for Texas and Oklahoma each. I don't think these conferences are really into paying money. I think they're into making money. So that's one reason why I don't think they're going anywhere. According to an article from Saturday Down South, it says, and this is in the Big 12 bylaws, there is a recognition that institutions may act in their own self-interest. However, there is an expectation that members adhere to conference bylaws and the enforcement of grants of rights agreements. Yeah, that'd be a pretty hefty buyout right there, especially if they're coming off a season where it was shortened by COVID, and most conferences lost revenue this year. A lot of Power 5, but two in particular didn't. The Big 10 and the SEC. The Big 10 made more money in 2020 during COVID than any other conference during the football season, which is just outstanding. But, you know, TV contracts, they'll do that. So here it is. Big 10 made $768.9 million. SEC, $728.9. Pac-12, $533.8 million. ACC, $496.7 million. And the Big 12 came in last of the Power 5 conferences at $409.2 million. I mean, I'd still take that amount, but in their world, that's probably like a lot of lost money. So I do believe that Oklahoma and Texas are using this as leverage. They're going to ask the conference for more money. They did meet with the, with the commissioner of the Big 12, and that's Bob Bowlesby, and he issued a statement on Sunday night about this. He said the meeting was cordial, and the executive committee expressed a willingness to discuss proposals that would strengthen the conference and be mutually beneficial to OU and UT, as well as other member institutions of the conference. I expect that we will continue our conversations in the days ahead, and we look forward to discussing thoughts, ideas, and concepts that may be of shared interest and impact. Blah, 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 blah.
Yeah, so would they consider buying out or getting rid of those, doing a buyout for those conferences to jump on into the SEC this year? Some people talking about it's already a done deal. I'm not sure. I mean, schools don't like to lose money. You already lost some money during the COVID year, except the SEC and the Big Ten, as they say. So it's like, I don't think they're gonna make that move this year. Now it's kicking up a lot of dust though. This thing, everybody talking about conference realignments. They talking about within our conference now. Is Alabama and Auburn gonna go to the east, and that puts Texas and Oklahoma in the west. Quite frankly, I like the idea of them being 4 divisions within the conference. 16 teams, man. Woo! This brings to mind also. I've been reading and I've been looking at like some of the comments and fans from Arkansas is worried about how is this going to do for us recruiting wise, how is it going to do for us, conference competition. I'm not worried about that, and you shouldn't either. This is why. Okay, even though it's been decades ago before I was even born, the SWC, when Texas ruined that league as well. And I mean, ain't that something like Texas has ruined 2 leagues that it had been in. Now you want them to come to the SEC. I mean, Oklahoma, okay. I say bring in Oklahoma, and if you're going to bring in another Texas school, bring in Baylor. Those are 2, Oklahoma or Baylor. Matter of fact, actually bring in Oklahoma and Kansas for a couple of reasons. I would prefer to have Oklahoma and Kansas. Football reason, the Kansas move don't make no sense. But I'm thinking about basketball, the other sport, the track record that Kansas have in national championships, being a blue chip. Another basketball blue chip to come in the conference. The competition with that, nobody thinks about it. I mean, because everything, nobody thinks about it. Period. It boggles my mind, man. So that everything is about football. I love football. Now I do. It's the most exciting sport. It's the number 1 sport in this country. I love it. But I also really love basketball as well. And for the fact that all these moves, think about it, this Texas move and this Oklahoma move and all the conference realignments, all this crap is because of football and money. They just, it's football, everything is moved by football. And that's what's irritating and stupid to me. Everything is relying on football. You think about the comments when you talk about how valuable Arkansas is to the conference to the SEC conference. People bring up football. Well, we were very competitive before the end of Brett Bielema and what is his name? It's so bad. Anyway, before that era, before these last 3-4 years. But basketball, man, I don't know, man. I'm just saying, I would prefer either Baylor or Kansas come over with Oklahoma. The reason why I say Kansas is because in Kansas, the state of Kansas they have their own little state going on up there, and then you got Oklahoma. We already have a Texas school, that's Texas A&M. But if you want to bring Baylor because of the Baylor just won the national championship in basketball, bring them over. You know what I'm saying? I picked those 2 because of what they bring in multiple sports. Just like Arkansas have some basketball title, and baseball, track and field, man. We dominant in track and field, right? We run this conference in track and field. This whole move, man, this football money grab move, that the national name, image, and likeness thing, man. This offseason has been a very explosive offseason. It's changing everything. Once national name, image, and likeness passed, and the NCAA got their butt handed to them in court, everything just got let loose, man. You know, now they finna try to form super conferences. I'm not a fan of super conference. I'm not. I like the SEC. I love being in the FCC. I love the competition that we have in this conference. But it just feels like everything is coming to a head. I mean, you think about it. We're not going to look at college athletes the same, because now they're going to be getting paid. Not only are they getting paid thousands, you getting people that's saying they getting paid 7 digits. You think about what Alabama said about their players. You know that's just going to trickle down to the other teams. The other teams, they star players going to be getting paid 7 figures. On, and then they're gonna realize, heck, these TVs got to start paying these players. It's name for their name, image, and likeness. Hold on. So yeah, the TV's gonna start paying. I mean, this is a bigger hole than I anticipated that it's gonna be. I didn't think it was gonna change this drastically, this fast, or at least it just feel like it's changing this fast, so drastic, so fast to me. Like doing away with the Big Ten. You remember when they got rid of the Big East? Like the Big East used to be such a historic conference. Now is nothing, man. Like, I need some water. Hold on. Yeah. So the Big East used to be a historic conference with some great rivalries in it. Boom, gone. Now you're talking about the Big 12. If Texas, I'm gonna put it like this: if Texas and them do, I'm not sure if they doing this strictly to get the conference to pay them more money. Maybe it is. Maybe it is a move by the Giants in that conference so that they can get paid more money. How sucky is that, man? Again, that goes to show you how sucky those money, bro. Don't know what to say about it. We all like money. We all need money, but dang, everything is starting to be about money. It's gonna get to the point where, are we gonna even have fun because everything is about money? They already talking about, there's gonna be some kids that, because they already getting paid thousands, ain't gonna want to go on the field to play football. Ain't that what you there for? Ain't that what you there for? Because I'm sure you will make more. Maybe you won't. I'm sure you'll make more in the NFL if you ever get to that level. But for some of these kids, not everybody gonna go to the NFL. And if some of them able to grab their tens of thousands, maybe hundreds of thousands, if you talking about 7 digits, you talking about millions. So you talking about a kid just got out of high school. And I ain't got no problem with that. I have no problem with a kid making their money, coming out of high school, just like one's going straight to the NFL, or going straight to the NBA. But for me, you going straight to the NBA. Now you coming from that to working a regular job, not going to college and doing all the other stuff. Here you in college, mind you, on a scholarship and making $1 million. It's crazy to me that so many things are changing so fast. And this is obviously, man, it ain't even been a good 2 months, man, and the scene in college is drastically changing And I don't know when it's gonna stop. Maybe when we get to playing football, things will feel not as big or as over dramatic. But anytime you cut on ESPN, they talking about Oklahoma and Texas moving over. Fox, Oklahoma and Texas moving over. I mean, this is heck. The news then took over SEC Media Week. Like, as soon as they broke with Texas, with who was that? Texas A&M was up there talking. Like, everything just broke. Like, that's the only thing everybody want to talk about, and it's the only thing everybody want to talk about now is the fact that Texas and Oklahoma want to come to the SEC. I don't think we should allow Texas in period. Now, I don't mind playing them every year as an Arkansas fan, that knowing that Texas was our rival. Oh, I would talk about the rivalry thing later. But, Texas probably, if they're going to make moves, Texas should go independent. Oklahoma should come over. Kansas or Baylor should come over. And the heck with everybody else. I mean, I don't the heck with everybody else. I mean, I don't mean to say it like that, but everybody else is gonna do their own thing. Some gonna go to Big Ten, some gonna go to Pac-12. West Virginia gonna go to the ACC. Notre Dame probably gonna go to the ACC. There'll be 16 teams in every conference. It's gonna end up being 4 super conference, and they're gonna shut the door on the Power 5. I'm telling you, dude, this is they're gonna shut the door on not on the Power 5, but because it ain't gonna be a Power 5 no more. It's gonna be exactly the NFL G League. This is exactly what it's going to turn out to be. The NFL G League. Just like in the G League, they got teams that this is what it's going to be, bro. This is exactly what it's going to be. It's just going to be, we just here to try to develop these players to go on to the NFL. They already going to get paid millions of dollars. The sad part about it is they're going to get paid more than the players playing in the G League, or the players playing in the minor league baseball. It's like, that's the sad part about it. Ain't that supposed to? It's supposed to be the opposite. Ain't that supposed to be enticing players? If you don't want to go to college, go to the G League or go to the minor leagues or something like that. Work your way up, get paid while you're doing it. But here you getting players getting paid millions in college with scholarships. Oh man, I don't understand it. And the more I watch how people talk about it, the more confused I get about it. Like, everything is greed, man. Greedy. Paul Firebomb them talked about why wouldn't SEC want them, because they don't want no other conference get them. So what? We still would be the best conference in football, even if Oklahoma and Texas went to the Pac-12. Even if Oklahoma and Texas went to the Big Ten, we would still be the best conference in football. Georgia stumped Oklahoma I don't know how many times. LSU. Texas can't even beat Oklahoma. So, I mean, Arkansas shouldn't even be worried. If they come and join, Arkansas shouldn't be worried. Arkansas was competitive with them in the SWC years ago. We won a national championship years ago in the SWC. So, we had players years ago when we was in that conference. We was a top school years ago in that conference. So I'm not scared of Oklahoma and Texas coming to the SEC. And neither should you. And that's just what it will be until some more news come out. Peace.